Hello, I'm Faith, and welcome to Faith's Take, where I talk about anything and everything that I find interesting. And welcome to my raw reaction of Mystery Science Theater 3000, Season 12, Episode 1 of The Gauntlet on Netflix. I have a lot of words to say, a lot of which I say in the reaction. I haven't edited it, obviously, yet, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to put in here. So if I repeat myself a little bit, I apologize, but real quick, let's get into my raw reactions, then we'll sit down and have a chat. Okay, guys, this is it. The season just went live. So we got the new season up and everything. I notice immediately, just gonna say, every single episode is 82 minutes or less. I don't like that because you guys could have put shorts in, especially because if this is like the first season, the credits were like 4 minutes long, so really these are all like 75 to 78 minute episodes. We'll see. The very first one they're doing is Mac and Me, which I've seen reviews of, and it looks like it's absolutely terrible, so I'm excited. I really hope it does well. Already a little disappointed seeing those times though, so let's see though. Let's see. Netflix original, technically. That's made of bubbles now, I guess. A new shot? Is that a new cinematic angle? That's Jonah. Yes, what happened? What happened?
Jonah!
Doesn't ring any bells.
Jonah Heston!
Oh, yeah.
I cannot wait to tell you about my harrowing tale of survival.
No, you better tell us what happened.
Come on, do you really have to do that now? I mean, don't you want to know how I escaped a loveless marriage and almost certain death?
Yes.
I'm glad you asked. It all started that day with, well, come on.
I swear. Okay. Are they really not gonna tell us? You know who else pulled that crap and I absolutely despised it? Sherlock. Okay? Okay. Guys, if you are gonna take a show, I'll turn this down a little more. If you're gonna take a show that does not normally have a storyline, and you're gonna go to the trouble of giving it a storyline where the lead character appears dead, you can't just do that. I won't even say that. I feel like most of us, I was gonna say I could speak for all of us, I feel like most of us would have been fine without any sort of storyline in the last season at all. They should have learned from the sci-fi season when they were forced to put storylines in. That's not what the show is about. It's just about the comedy, and the comedy leads the show. They chose to let a crappy story lead the show at the end like that in the host segments. And I swear to God, if they introduced that story, wasted our time and energy talking about that story, and then aren't gonna follow through with it. And for those of you thinking it's a comedy show and they want to make a joke out of the fact that they're not going to tell us, like, that is an effing long time for a terrible punchline. They made us wait over a year and a half thinking hey, we're going to have a plot now and we're going to see what happens with Jonah. We're going to act like he died, something that we never had to do with Joel or Mike in that kind of way. Do a cliffhanger thinking they died like that for a year and a half and then do it. I'm not gonna just take it as a joke. So they better not just effing leave it as a joke.
Anyway, back to my daring, life-threatening escape. There I was, me and Reptilicus.
That thought king is calling.
You,
Zip it, Heston. We don't have time to tie up loose ends. Instead, we need to tee up the next concept in movie mockery.
I hate this.
Ladies and gentlemen of the world stage, prepare to witness.
I can't believe it. I am disgusted. I wish I was. I am upset.
Have assembled the six most
Yes, we all know this.
I love it.
What? No!
Yes. The gauntlet.
At least Crow's the same.
No. Algernon.
Oh, they're really proud of that bubble font, aren't they?
Just lift the head of your favorite character.
Hey, I thought I was your favorite.
Aw.
Such a middle joke.
Oh gosh, they changed the lights. It looks like in the hallway. Okay, guys, I just can't. Like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. The riffs could be fantastic, I hope they are, but first you kind of jack us out of 90-minute episodes by making 80-minute episodes. It's 10 minutes less of time and money per episode. That's over an hour's worth of content deleted from a lot of the episodes. I know some were under 90 last season, but most were like 84 to 96, I think was the longest. And then you don't tell us what happened to Jonah. And again, it's like, I get that it's a comedy show, but if you're gonna be a comedy, like, pick one, Joel, okay? Like, pick one. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this not even that funny wedding scenario that ends with the supposed, but obviously not, death of the lead character, and leave the audience for a year and a half, and then come back with only 6 80-minute episodes and no conclusion to the story. I am pissed off, guys. I am extremely disappointed in them. If it had been a 1-episode thing, like I said, if they had left us between episode 13 and 14, episode 13 we thought Jonah died, and then he came back at the beginning of 14, that would have been fine. And it had been a joke, I would have been like, you know what, that's stupid, but hey, it was a joke. We only had to wait 30 seconds for Netflix to load the next episode. But for us to wait a year and a half and it be that, and just written off like that, when they were clearly the one that wanted to do a story, at least for the love, follow through with what you started. And hey, if you guys think it was funny and it worked for you, and you're like, don't take it so seriously, fine, but then they shouldn't have made the cliffhanger so serious. The build-up, like 5 episodes of build-up for that storyline, of Max finding the Reptilicus monster, of Kinga doing the wedding stuff and mentioning it every episode for like 5 or 6 episodes in a row. Clearly wanted us to take note of it, and then to just throw it all away. Follow through with what you started. That's what good writers do. Like, I'm sorry, guys. And I know, I'm sure a lot of you will be upset with me for saying that, or say that I'm taking it too seriously, but they're the ones that should have learned from the sci-fi seasons. You don't do these storylines. People don't like them. They don't work in a show like this. You don't need them in a show like this. It's like, that really put me off of this. Like, I wish I could say it didn't, but it's like, after a year and a half of trying to stick up for season 11 and stick with the show, even though there were rough parts and a lot of like side characters that didn't work for me, or I didn't like, or things that needed to be improved, it's like, I stuck by this thing and I made all the videos and I still enjoyed it for what it was, despite its flaws, and really cared about what was going to happen. And then they just did this. So I'm sorry if I'm not as, I hope that the riffing is good enough and the movie is good enough that I'm more happy and upbeat the rest of the time, because that amount of just, we don't give a crap about, our audience, or we think our writing's more subversive and funny than it is. Oh, we're just not gonna tell you and it'll be a big effing joke. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm taking this too seriously, but for a show with a 30-year legacy that has learned multiple times that storylines don't work for this show, that you don't need them, and all the crap this audience has given to Joel, so much money in the last couple years, so much time, so much love, so much effort in fan-made things, like, not just over the last couple years for a Netflix show, but over the 30 years of this show. And then they just treat us like it's okay to do that. And I know a lot of you might think I'm overreacting just in general, like, even if this was a serious story-driven show, this show and what it gave birth to later on with riff tracks and stuff has literally changed my life. It's one of like the 3 most important pieces of media in my life, and I didn't know I could be this disappointed in it. But they're gonna riff. movie that I've seen reviews of looks terrible, so let's get right into that.
Whatever we do next could alter the course of. Hank, what are you doing? My feet hurt so bad, Mr. Frodo.
They're so hard to look at. They're just so ugly.
And that's our show. We hope you've enjoyed.
Is what?
An aquarium for men? Finally!
Wait, so Waverly and Growler just came in to wave and leave? But like, they just put them in there for no... What the heck is happening? So did the rest of the alien family just die? Oh, they're so ugly.
Don't worry, if we just put flashing lights on it, nobody will notice it's your mom's station.
How'd the mom not see that? Come on.
I don't have it. I didn't take it.
Alright.
Hey, look at all the cars.
Man,
This looks pretty nice. Pretty nice.
It's just a highway.
yawn.
Jim Henson's The Shining Babies.
Say what you will, whoever's puppeteering Mac's left lower eyelid is doing a bang-up job.
Yeah, very funny of this show to be making fun of bad puppeteering.
4th of July! On the next episode of Duck Dynasty Interiors!
What? Oh my gosh, this is awful.
Boy, Mom.
Why don't you wake up your brother, you idiot? This movie is awful. And the riffs, there's some good ones. Overall, they're just like pleasant or okay for the most part, but we'll see.
It was a balmy. It was cold. What is the temperature on Moon 13 anyway? Oh, I'll just ask the Mac and me way.
Yeah, great. Who cares what the temperature was? Just tell me how you did it.
Ask him what he's going on about.
Sure, yeah, I'll try.
Oh, did they fix her to sound normal? I thought I noticed that earlier, but I wasn't sure. Does Cynthia not have the annoying robot voice anymore? I thought she didn't earlier during the invention exchange, but I wasn't sure if that was something that was like just for the invention exchange because they were being like a commercial. So, okay, that's great. That's a good improvement. I mentioned that I wanted the clone to be improved, and if they change that annoying voice, that is definitely an improvement.
No. Oh, wait.
What's she baking back there? I'm more interested in that than like any of this.
Lunch will be ready in 10 minutes. Hope
So-
you like corn on the cob.
So she cooks for them on Moon 13?
Send it to my
That doesn't seem very Kinga-like. I mean, that's a nice thing to her character. I said I wanted Kinga to be more developed, and if she cooks for them now, that's at least some development. I'll take it.
Watch out for snakes.
Yay!
Got it.
Drink.
Now this is pod racing.
Oh my gosh.
Why don't you invite Eric to Brittany's birthday tomorrow? You want to come? Sure.
Invite you to another person's birthday.
We're gonna suck him up.
He's like a Teddy Ruxpin with the face torn off.
How does the kid know that sucking up the aliens works?
Eric knows this will work because he saw the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, how does he know that sucking up the aliens? Oh my gosh, this is like nightmare fuel.
Jonah, can we unsee whatever Mac's mouth is doing?
Oh, yes, please.
I put my hands up to play myself. The butterflies fly away.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, Mom. You call that running? That person's gonna kill ya.
I'm gonna let my 8-year-old go to a party with a bunch of strangers. We just moved into town and he's been having these episodes where he's seeing a monster. Okay.
Kinda old for a teddy, isn't he?
It's a kid in a wheelchair.
Land to Lincoln? Say no more.
This kid in a wheelchair shouldn't have a teddy bear. The
Waking
heck?
nightmare.
What is happening?
Weren't you glad I didn't say banana? Anyway, back to
Man, this isn't as gut-busting as I thought a riff of this movie could be, but we'll see.
You're the birthday girl at everyone's favorite Force Fun Foodery, McDonald's.
McDonald's?
Oh no!
With your ever loved
Oh boy. Thought the movie was enough nightmare fuel.
Play along, Servo.
So is Gypsy a dictator now?
Breathtaking cross promotion that Mac and me inspired us to make our own fun characters. I'm Burger Kinga.
Oh my gosh.
I'm Office Max.
I noticed that name tag. That's funny. I'll give them that. So is Gypsy just kind of nuts now? I welcome that, actually. I will say, hang on, let me pause it. I noticed something. We've had 2 mid-movie segments, if I am correct. The whistling one and then that McDonald's one. And there's less than 30 minutes of the episode left. I think we've been gypped out of a third mid-movie segment. We only get 2 mid-movie host segments, I think. Okay. What is happening? Like, I'd heard of this movie. I saw clips of this movie years ago. I heard about it. But this is insanity personified. What is happening? Thank you.
Take her, spare me.
He did.
Coke, McDonald.
Tell my wife I died chasing a little boy in a wheelchair!
When did she leave?
What? I can't hear you over the wind in this liquor store!
Flowing.
Did you just check me out?
Ugh.
Give me the gun! Drop it or I blow this kid's brains I'm alive again? Pretty nice.
Whatever happened to predictability?
Oh my gosh.
The milkman, the paperboy, rock and doggy!
This whole thing is awful.
Look at that car. Pretty nice. Crow.
It wasn't a bad riff, but it wasn't... I mean, there were some good laughs in it for sure, but it wasn't as gut-bustingly hilarious as I thought it would be with this
I
film.
was feeling winded after watching the movie.
It was a rough one.
Hey,
Mads are a little better. The clone seems a little better. Doesn't have the annoying voice. If Gypsy's kind of nuts now, that would be fun. It could have just been in that bit, but that showed the potential that this Gypsy has. It was fun. She was funny being all crazy and weird, so that's good. We were gypped out of a mid-movie host segment and everything, and they just threw in the 2 other bots in the theater for half a second and they didn't even say anything like Gypsy does, so that was literally pointless. There's a lot to talk about. So let's get to it, I suppose. Okay, so there's a lot of issues here. The riffs were good-ish, because when I hear that they're gonna riff 6 of the worst movies ever, and that one of them is Mac and Me, like, on the internet, that is known as one of the just worst rip-off, product placement-filled disasters of all time. And there were some great laugh-out-loud riffs. As you saw, I laughed out loud at a good handful of them. But there were a lot that weren't, and a lot of parts where I'm like, I was surprised they couldn't come up with... Now, I'm not saying I could come up with better stuff. I'm not saying that. It was interesting how I thought there'd just be a little more oomph, I guess, to the riff. Now, the movie is absolutely awful and terrible, just like they said. But if you're gonna say we're doing 6 of the worst movies ever, the riff's gotta sell me that you can handle that. And handle it really well. Not handle it mediocre, not handle it good, handle it great. Okay? You can't hype up this thing and not give us episodes for a year and a half and then give us 6 okay episodes. So far, it's only been 1. And I'm just talking about the riffs. I haven't even touched the host segments yet, but we'll get to that. So, there's already that. And then... you saw me rant already about the stuff with Jonah in the opening. It's like, if you want to do a storyline, finish it, okay? And don't act like you didn't. You wasted so much time last season with that, when you could have been trying to actually develop, the characters or the comedy a little better, the actual comedic dynamic between the Mads, which was really lacking last season. Like, there's so much else you could have done with those segments, and you didn't, and then you waste it. And you give us this useless cliffhanger that we all thought shouldn't have been done in the first place, and you did it anyway, and then what did it get us? Nothing but a cheap gag we've seen 1,000 times in every, sitcom and cartoon ever. And not only that, you shorten the episodes and cheat us out of a host segment on a movie that actually you could have found the material to do a third mid-movie segment. You give us the whistling one and you give us the McDonald's one, but there's no third one. It's like deviating from the structure of the show for the first time ever, I believe, doing this. And then with a movie that gives you the material for more. You could have either had a segment where you actually explain what happened to Jonah, or it's Mac and me. There's so many things that you could have done to get that third segment in there. And if the movies are too short, you put some effing shorts in the front. Like everyone wanted last season and didn't get out of 14 episodes. Now out of 20, we're not gonna get them. And then something even worse. Something even worse that shows just how hypocritical some of this is. Not just the whole, hey, we're gonna yank your chain with the storyline and rip it away and act like it's all funny and it's not. It's something you've seen before. But I uploaded my video right before this, around midnight my time, with my final thoughts on season 11 as a whole, because I just rewatched it all and binged that, and final thoughts on season 11 and what I wanted / thought we were going to get out of this season. And Not Sloth on YouTube commented, and I saw it before I watched this, and reminded me of something very funny, because I had realized something when I saw the list of movies they were doing. Atlantic Rim is a Asylum movie of Pacific Rim. If you don't know who what the company of the Asylum is, they're the people behind Sharknado. They make purposefully bad movies. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with riffing that. RiffTrax has riffed Sharknado, and Sharknado 2 did a fantastic job. What RiffTrax has proven, you can riff bad on purpose movies and it's still funny. You can make it work. Joel, back in I think it was 2016, I believe, tweeted out, at least, if not everywhere else, I just know Twitter for sure, that they weren't going to do purposefully on bad movies on RiffTrax. No Sharknadoes here. It just felt like, dude, just do the movies that you're going to do. And if you don't want to do on purpose bad movies, that's fine. Just don't do it. Just don't say anything about it. Just leave it alone. But the next one they're doing is a purposefully on bad movie by no Sharknadoes here. Only movies from the company that made Sharknado. And I'd completely forgotten that. Still no shorts, still no black and white movies, and a bad on purpose movie that Joel prided himself on 2 years ago they were never going to do. Plus the Jonah stuff at the beginning. I expected at least the quality we got through most of the second half of season 11. Especially with the movie being Mac and Me. I expected to love this as much as like the Beast of Hollow Mountain riff. Or Carnival Magic or something. And I didn't. And then you do those effing segments, you make a shorter episode for no reason outside the movie's not long enough, and instead of adding a short or something, you just leave it as, I mean, I'm assuming the movie's not long enough. I'm going to look up right now how long that movie is. I'm going to show a screenshot of this. An hour and 39 minutes. I get that the movie is terrible. I get that it's hard to write riffs already, let alone on movies that are this bad. But you have a fan base that loves you. A loyal fan base that has given you so much love, attention, time, and money over the last 2 years, Joel. And everyone, whoever else is in charge over there. And you do this, like, you gave us, if you take the credits off, there were 5 minutes of credits on that episode. If you take the credits out, that episode is an hour and 18 minutes long. And that's not even if you take the theme song out. But let's count hour and 18 minutes riffing a movie that's actually an hour and 39 minutes long. And the opening host segment was pretty substantial length too. And even if you took the host segments out, they cut 20 plus minutes of the movie. This is Netflix. It's not TV. You don't have commercials. That's not an issue. You don't have to cut it down to under 2 hours. And even if you did, you still have 90 effing minutes, not 82 or whatever, with 5 minutes of credits. I feel terrible saying this. I know I probably sound super entitled. And I don't mean to. I'm not trying to be entitled and, oh, I deserve this. It just feels like that episode between the opening segment, the length, the lack of a third mid-movie host segment is like really disrespectful and like playing a joke on the audience. You know? Again, I get that riffing Mac and Me was probably really hard. It's a terrible, ugly movie. One of the worst things I've ever seen. But it's like, again, they cut out over an hour of if you take 4 to 5 minutes long of credits out of each episode that would normally, back in the old days, have only 1 to 2 minutes of credits, we've been cut almost an entire episode's worth of content in these 6 episodes because of how short they are and how long the credits are. If you take all that out, take out the credits, they're all under 80 minutes at that point of riffing and host segments, and they cut the movies that much. I know it was hard. You had a year and a half to do this. 6 hard movies in a year and a half, where Riff Tracks is putting out at minimum a new short every single week. Riff Tracks does a hell of a lot more than 6 movies in a year. I don't mean to sound so upset. I think it just, like I said earlier, the show means a lot to me. And this, you know, it's Netflix. We don't have these restrictions and we have such great fans and we're traveling the country doing live shows and stuff. But it's like, you cut Mac and Me down to, if you take out the segments, what's probably an hour and 10, probably less than that, versus the hour and 40 almost that's there. Whereas Riff Tracks riffs the entirety of Titanic, all 3 Lord of the Rings movies, all the Star Wars movies, and they don't cut anything out. They do the whole effing thing. You know, when they do terrible movies with VODs, they do the whole thing. If everyone else is happy with this, then I do not blame you. I'm not upset at anyone that enjoys this. I don't want people to think, you know, that I'm just being upset to be upset, because like I liked most of season 11 and really wanted to move forward loving the show and was so excited for season 12. I made a little bitty celebratory video when it was announced and everything. And even though we got that slap in the face of only 6 episodes and things like that were getting announced, and oh, still no shorts and all that, it's like I really tried to stay positive even though I was disappointed. And it's like, I don't mean to be a total downer or seem, like I said, selfish or entitled or something. And if you guys loved and adored this episode, that's great. I hope that you love the entire season, and I'm not trying to say that anyone that loved it or doesn't mind these things, like the riffing a movie that's intentionally bad, and not telling us how Jonah survived or whatever. If you're okay with that, I hope you're not mad at me for not being okay with it, and I want you to know I'm not mad at you for being okay with it. Because I understand we all have different opinions. Like, I'm sorry this ended up being a whole downer. Maybe you didn't see any of the issues I saw, like I said, and I don't blame you for that at all. I don't doubt that. And I'm glad that I'm genuinely very happy for anyone that fully enjoyed this episode, didn't have any problems, anything like that. No matter where on the spectrum you enjoyed the episode, I'm glad that you did. It just wasn't for me, I guess. It's just, you know, I don't know. There's always been some things about Joel the last couple of years that have seemed a little iffy. And I think it just kind of all comes together in this. And I don't mean to slander or say anything bad, but 6 under-length, under-host segment-filled episodes of movies that could have been long enough and they cut drastically for no reason. I'm just upset. I'm just genuinely upset. And I'm not gonna lie about it. That's the other thing, because I know a lot of people are probably gonna be disappointed or upset with me, and I understand that. But I'm not gonna fake enjoying stuff that I didn't, or even fake being okay with stuff that I'm not okay with. But Mystery Science is a show that has shaped me as a person, that has honestly saved me in several ways, and is the only reason that, I shouldn't say only, but is one of the major reasons this channel exists. It's very disappointing. That's what they've done. And I'm sorry for this video not being what I wanted it, what I thought it would be. I'll say, I thought it would be more upbeat, more fun, more, hey, they riffed Mac and me, and we found out how Jonah lived, and it was great. That's what I wanted it to be. But that wouldn't be the truth. And I'm not gonna not be me and be truthful about what I thought about anything, even if it's something that kind of hurts me to tell the truth about. So, I'm really sorry about that. I won't be able to watch another episode till tomorrow night, tonight, Thanksgiving night, because I'm gonna edit this, get this up. It's already almost about 4 a.m., so hopefully get this up soon. Excuse me, and then get a couple hours sleep before the parades and stuff in the morning, family stuff all day, and then tomorrow night I'll watch at least the next episode, and hopefully we can put all this, at least I can put this episode behind me, and it's just better from top to bottom, even if it's something that Joel once specifically said they wouldn't do, and is now being a terrible hypocrite in doing. Maybe he saw the Riff Tracks numbers for the Sharknado stuff and wanted a piece of that action, so. I love you guys. Thanks again, and I'll see you guys later.